Hey everybody, welcome back to C.Dat.Guy Review Movies. My name is Christian, and once again, sorry for the delay. I ended up turning Star Wars Day into Star Wars Week as I rewatched all 12 movies on Disney Plus, and then continued my TV series of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community. It feels weird to say that it's been crazy waiting for new movies to watch, but I think I'm just really picky. Yeah, there have been some new movies appearing on streaming like Extraction on Netflix, and theatrical movies that were released early in the year finally making their way to VOD like Fantasy Island or Bloodshot, but for some reason, none of them have really caught my interest. So instead, I decided to pay $20 to rent a movie that was originally to come out in theaters. And I guess the franchise model works on me because today I'll be reviewing Scoob. The Warner Animation Group is a relatively young division of Warner Brothers with only 7 years in existence and 7 movies under their belt. They haven't had huge hits like Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, or Illumination, but they have had some moderate success. And I'll be honest, the only movie I've seen from them is the first Lego movie, but I do hope they continue to be creative with their other Warner properties. Anyway, when I look back on my younger years, I realized that Scooby-Doo was a huge part of it because when I was looking through its 50-year franchise run, I have watched the original series, the new Scooby-Doo movies, the Scooby-Doo show, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, the 4 Cartoon Network movies, both live-action movies, and stopped around the first season of What's New Scooby-Doo. And when I saw the trailer, I was eager to watch it for the sake of nostalgia, and now after watching the movie, I have to say that it does capture some of the old stuff decently, but really focuses on the modern updates. This is one of the few times where I actually recognize most of the voice actors. We had Zac Efron as Fred, Amanda Seyfried as Daphne, Gina Rodriguez as Velma, Will Forte as Shaggy, and the legendary Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo. These actors match the personalities of the characters we've known over the years and managed to make them a little more relatable without making them sound too cheesy. In addition to Mr. Ink, we have Kiersey Clemons as Dee Dee Skies, Ken Jeong as Dynamite, and Mark Wahlberg as Blue Falcon, aka Brian. I thought they were an interesting addition to the movie because in the past, Scooby-Doo was known to cross over in some iterations, but I think Mark Wahlberg steals a majority of the movie. He's like a PG version of Deadpool, one that's less violent but more goofy. This is a reboot of the origin story of the Scooby-Doo gang as it shows how Scooby and Shaggy first met. And then it's followed by how the rest of the gang meet by solving a mystery in a haunted house on Halloween. And then the story goes like this. It fast forwards 10 years later to what I assume is 2020, and Simon Cowell, I'm not kidding, Simon Cowell wants to go into business with Mystery Inc. as long as Scooby and Shaggy are not a part of it. With the two feeling useless, they head to a bowling alley where they are attacked by shape-shifting robots called the Rottens. They are saved by Dee Dee Skies, Blue Falcon, and Dynamite, who reveals that this Blue Falcon is actually Brian, the son of the original Blue Falcon, who has retired. It turns out the Rotten robots are owned by Dick Dastardly. The Blue Falcon team informs them that Dastardly is collecting the 3 skulls of Cerberus for his evil plans, but is also after Scooby for some reason. Shaggy and Scooby use this as an opportunity to prove they're not useless and join the Blue Falcon team on their mission to stop Dastardly. Meanwhile, Fred, Daphne, and Velma try to figure out where Shaggy and Scooby went. They trace some clues to Dastardly and also try to figure out his plans and motives based on researching his recent crimes. I really appreciate how they recreated the opening credits of the original show. And when I was watching, it did feel like a longer version of the TV show. They didn't waste any characters and shared enough dialogue and scenes together, and they actually had enough jokes to keep me chuckling to myself. However, a longer version of the TV show doesn't exactly equate to better quality. I definitely noticed a couple of things with this movie. The first thing I noticed was, despite the show emphasizing that the villain was always some person in a mask, this one reflected more like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island or The Witch's Ghost, where it turns out there's something supernatural happening. So that is a slight positive. However, the second thing I noticed was a huge genre shift. Scooby-Doo was always known as a mystery show, and pretty early on in the movie, like around the time where they are saved by the Blue Falcon team, it looks like the creators, the writers, whoever was in charge of this, was treading towards something that was more familiar and currently popular: superheroes. It really was kind of like a superhero movie with Scooby-Doo characters thrown in the mix. The only mystery they really had was why Dastardly was after Scooby-Doo, and when they reveal it, it's actually kind of surprising. Is it good enough for kids? Yes. Is it appealing to adults? Maybe. It really depends on what you're expecting. Is it emotionally gripping like Pixar? No. It really felt like watching Minions to me. Actually, even the round robots themselves reminded me of the Minions. However, they did sneak a couple of adult jokes in there, so I guess you can look forward to that. And lastly, towards the end, I think I had an issue with a story point. In my opinion, it didn't feel fully explained, but I think the movie needed like some type of Deus Ex Machina moment so that the kids don't feel bummed out. As I was looking through the backgrounds of scenes, I kept on noticing references to Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and I honestly didn't recognize that the villain was Dick Dastardly from Wacky Races because they altered his appearance a bit. But once he mentioned his dog Muttley, everything clicked. And by the time it got to the end credits, I was wondering if Warner Animation Group was planning some sort of shared movie universe like the Avengers, which is more evidence of them appealing to what's popular and leaving out Scooby Doo's core elements. The animation isn't anything new or special, but it was good enough to make Scooby Doo feel fresh again. I like the modernization, but I also thought they were trying a little too hard to feel current based on the amount of songs that showed up and with some of the dialogue. The characters weren't really the issue, but it was how the story played out. Was it worth the $20 rental on Amazon Prime? For me, it wasn't, but I'm pretty sure a lot of families would be saving a lot of money watching it this way compared to watching it in a movie theater. How much you'll like the movie will depend on how much you care about the franchise in general, and I thought this movie was okay, but I think it's also good enough for kids. So for all those reasons, I'm giving this movie a 5.5 out of 10. Alright guys, so there's my movie review of Scoob. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. And go ahead and give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I don't care. But if you want to see more movie reviews from this guy, go ahead and click the subscribe button right up here. Or if you want to see one of my previous movie reviews, go ahead and click the video right up here. Other than that, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, and stay safe out there.